parents abandoning their babies, slavery, forced marriage and parenthood. People who have never seen it think One Piece is for kids, but as you well know, One Piece is pretty messed up sometimes. But turns out things might be even more disturbing and terrifying than we ever thought possible, as we're gonna break down the absolutely darkest One Piece theories there are and how likely they actually are to be true. And there's absolutely nobody better to start with than the master of darkness himself, Marshall D. Teach. And of course, there's just so many things I could talk about with him specifically that are on the edge of being truly messed up. Does he have multiple personalities fighting inside him to dominate his body at any given point? Is he an artificial clone of the ultimate evil, Roxy Zebek? Is the reason that he doesn't sleep because his multiple souls act like sleep paralysis demons? Honestly, probably, at least to that last point, but you get the idea. However, there is actually one glaring feature that he has that lets him stand out from the rest. You guessed it. It's his multiple devil fruit. It's actually an idea that's floated around for quite a while now, and the best way to put it is bloody raw. It's nasty, it's freaky, and it's pretty fleshed out. I'm talking about the idea that Blackbeard is actually a cannibal. But instead of silencing the lambs, this man ate his dad. This man covered up Whitebeard with a blanket, and after some weird noises and weird moving around, he suddenly had his devil fruit. After that, using that same earthquake power, he leveled Marineford, but how exactly did that work? Well, we do know that the main rule in One Piece is that one person can only have one devil fruit. Unless you're Blackbeard apparently, because Saint Saturn confirmed in chapter 1107 that Blackbeard's lineage is actually special. Now this might possibly be hinting at the idea that his family has a unique body type that can use multiple devil fruits and doesn't need sleep. And well, this theory takes that idea and then just runs completely wild in the darkest and bloodiest possible direction. I mean, for one, we don't know exactly what actually happened under that cloth, and if he has a special body that allows him to consume a devil fruit, what if he has to eat Whitebeard's heart before he actually died? After all, we do know that Blackbeard models himself after the worst pirate in the world, Zebek, someone who is known to have committed the greatest taboos in the entire world. So what if the One Piece world and ours aren't so different, and cannibalism is what actually sets Roxy Zebek apart from everyone else who is a criminal? And speaking of cannibalism, let's talk about Big Mom here as well. Charlotte Linlin is actually a very good proof of concept for this crazy theory. It's pretty heavily implied in the story that she ate Mother Caramel and thus somehow has now her devil fruit powers. Something that we also never get to see happening on screen or in the manga. It's kind of just implied. And the same could be the case for the sheet that Blackbeard throws up across Whitebeard. Maybe our man Oda just has his limits somewhere. He'll talk and imply a bunch of really crazy evil things, as we'll see in the later theories as well, like slave wives and assault, but he won't quite show it. And eating people would probably be on that very list. And on that topic, I'm actually not gonna let you get away right away from me, Big Mom, because the next really dark theory revolves around you and your mom. Well, technically not, but just like Blackbeard and Whitebeard, this is a found family sort of dynamic that they have. And now that I think of it, it's kind of odd that we're going from a dude who ate his dad to a girl who probably ate her mom. And I mean, I guess you're just gonna get these weird transitions like that when you do a video on really dark ideas. Still kind of makes me a little bit uncomfortable. Anyways, I do think that Mother Caramel took over Linlin with her dark willpower, and specifically through the soul powers of her devil fruit, the soul fruit. Now this idea would actually explain a whole lot about the personality shift that happens with Big Mom between being a kid and then being an adult, and it would definitely fit the vile and truly corrupt personality that we know Mother Caramel had as well. Now, for those of you who don't remember or don't know this really dark backstory, Mother Caramel was a human trafficker who raised Linlin and some other orphans until she got hungry for a nice bag of Werther's Originals and ate her. But she was also the previous wielder of the Soul Fruit, a power that we do know Big Mom now has as well. We also know that her personality drastically changed from that and became really twisted after she consumed those abilities. Going from being a kind and loving child to becoming obsessed with creating her own perfect family and crushing people's souls in order to do so. And we also know that her ultimate move, called 3000 Leagues of Misery, literally manifests in the form of Mother Caramel. Now, the name of this attack is even a reference to an anime called 3000 Leagues Searching for Mother. After all, Big Mom still doesn't know exactly what she did or how she got her powers in the first place, even though it's pretty clear to everyone else, you and me and everyone around her. Kind of a classic case of really dramatic irony. And for you people who didn't pay attention in English class, that's just when we, the audience, know something that the characters do not themselves, despite the fact that they probably should, because it's fairly obvious. But of course, the biggest piece of evidence for this is that Big Mom is actually such a sweet and caring person at heart. I mean, we learn in Wano Kuni after her amnesia moment that she's kind, pretty innocent, and supportive of anyone in need, like Tama or Chopper. However, once she gets her memories back, pure evil, just like her terrible, cruel stepmother of a human trafficker. And all of this supports the idea that Mother Caramel, in some way, shape, or form, is actually manifesting her own darkness inside Big Mom whenever she's using her devil fruit powers. Either that or the will of this fruit itself is pure evil, and that is just really horrifying to think about, because if devil fruits are the manifestation of people's dreams, then whoever thought of this fruit specifically probably had a really bad nightmare. And kind of funnily enough, I actually had a weird dream last night too. It was about all these kids running around in a circle, going merry-go-round, screaming about their parents and fruit, and then one kid went, "Oh, my dad doesn't love me and now I'm a pineapple." Honestly, I don't know what they were trying to tell me, but it did kind of remind me of this next idea about devil fruits, claiming that they are the dreams of children who were sacrificed during the Void Century. I mean, you saw the title of the video, and I initially saw this theory on Reddit from the user Boss Aesop, and it was interesting, I guess is the right word here, and this all stems from a very specific sequence that happened back during the Skypiea arc. Specifically, the moment during the story of Noland when he stops Kagura's sacrificial ritual to stop the curse on their lands. Now, in case you don't remember, in order to do so, his daughter is put up to die in a ritual sacrifice, and if it hadn't been for Noland killing the massive serpent god Kashigami, then, well, that girl would have been snake food. But the really interesting connection here is this idea of curses, serpents, and sacrifices, because all of these things are constantly associated with the literal goat down under, the devil. Now, I could go on and on about all of these Christianity themes in One Piece, Kuma and his Bible and church, the Holy Land, Adam and Eve tree, you kind of get the point. The idea is very much like everything else in Skypiea. This actually might have been a foreshadowing moment that would foretell the origins of devil fruits. Let me explain a little bit. We do know that devil fruits seem to have a will of their own and date back to at least the Void Century. And after all of the recent confirmations about Marijua, the Iron Giant, and the Gorosei, all very Judeo-Christian inspired parts of the series, this ritual might hint at how devil fruits were actually made to begin with. In the scene, we see a father sacrificing his daughter to please an evil god. So what if someone like Imu, the sea god, made the citizens of the ancient kingdom do this very same ritual? Or possibly just the members of the D-Clan? I mean, it would kind of fit nicely with the Will of Dreams theory about the D-Clan, I guess. All that I know is that we kind of need to stop all of this parent-child murder. Like, can we get a theory that's not about that? What's the next one? Oh, Kuina, great. Do I have to talk about how her father pushed her down these stairs so that Zoro could become the world's greatest swordsman now? Oh, wait. Oh, this is great. This might be even worse. And admittedly, this one is a lot darker than the rest we've talked about so far, as it deals with depression and self-harm, which is never a fun topic to talk about. So if you want to skip ahead to the next theory, timestamp is right here on screen. Just pop on ahead. Anyways, there is really no better way to talk about this idea than to just say it. Kuina might not have fallen down the stairs, and her dad probably didn't push her down it either. Kuina unfortunately might have just taken things into her own hands, realizing she'd never achieve her own dream of being the world's strongest swordsman. Now, why is that a theory? Well, she sort of states that right before she unfortunately has that accident. Her conversation with Zoro, despite his yelling and stubbornness, is an inherently depressing moment, not a really joyful and promising one. Basically, after their duel, Kuina realizes how quickly Zoro is gonna catch up and will soon undoubtedly surpass her. Not to mention that her own father doesn't really seem to believe in her dream as a real and achievable one. In a nutshell, everyone tells her that the one thing that she's really pushed herself to do her entire life is, well, impossible, at least in her own eyes. And even though we want to go, hey, Zoro ended up changing her mind, he saw her for who she really was, the tragic truth could be that that might not have mattered anymore. And that much like someone struggling with really harsh and dark thoughts, she simply put on a smile and a good face to not upset her own friends. Because then the next time that we hear about her, she's gone. It's like really dark, it's brutal, but somehow it seems more likely than anything else, honestly, when it comes to that backstory. I mean, Kuina was tough, and even though she was a kid and a big fall could be fatal, that has always set poorly with most of the audience. It's kind of heavily implied that something else happened, and well, this is, I guess, the darkest but also most plausible option here. Also, I just quickly want to take a moment to reflect after that really dark theory and say that it's okay to struggle and feel lost sometimes. You're a loved person, and if you're struggling, do not hesitate to reach out and get support that you need. I implore you guys to support those in need and make it known that you are there for the people that you love. Because let's be real, depression is a real bitch. Okay, this one was a little bit heavy, so let's move on to something a little bit easier. A silly skeleton man who's telling the tale of his dead friends. Yo ho ho ho. Now, of course, I'm talking about the relatively sad and dark truth that the world of One Piece will go on without the Straw Hats, and that Brook, the crew's musician, is the actual narrator that, well, reads us One Piece or tells it to us in the anime. And that the story that we're reading and watching right now is actually already over in the universe, and Brook is just telling it to the next generation, or just remembering it by himself, alone, writing the Thousand Sunny many years later. Maybe the last shot of One Piece is just Brook pouring sake on all of the crew's graves. Anyways, there is actually a couple of hints that give this idea at least some level of credibility. For starters, we do know that Brook apparently is not able to die just from regular aging. I mean, sure, he could get crushed or killed otherwise, but thanks to his very unique and special devil fruit, he may just be immortal in that skeleton form of his. And we obviously also know that there is actually a narrator in One Piece, as they do appear on special occasions to interject about what is going to happen, foreshadowing the importance of events like Egghead or Luffy's Grand Fleet, and this kind of implies that whoever is narrating has some sort of greater knowledge of the future and already knows what has happened. Now, of course, this could just be a classic author self-insert, but I do want to remind you that One Piece does have this theme of epic legends and the grand cycle. And without getting too crazy into it in this video, essentially the idea of this cycle in storytelling is that characters fill the same roles at different points in time for a story, all continuing to loop through big events or back to the beginning of the story. In this case, the idea behind that being Joy Boy, Roger, and Luffy all go down very similar journeys and end up in very similar positions, and that someday, after all is said and done, this will happen again in the future with another pirate chasing after Luffy's wealth, fame, and power. And what we also do know is that characters connected to these protagonists do tend to tell their stories to future generations. Lily and the Kozuki clan crafted the poneglyphs and spread them throughout the world to tell people about Joy Boy's story. Oden's journal is a detailed story of the travels of the Roger pirates told to us by Yamato. And we do learn in chapter 228 of the story that the navigators of ships do have logbooks detailing the entire adventures of a crew. Meaning that Nami actually does have everything written down, even from the time before Brook. So while it may seem a little bit out there, Brook may actually be the narrator that we see in the story. Sad, alone, and without his crew for a second time in his life. Alright, see, like this one wasn't too dark, I guess, like dark but not too dark, but I do promise the next one is, again, way worse. I think we actually need another parent killing their kid idea to bring us back to the really dark and depressing energy from earlier, I guess, if we want that. So let's talk about Shanks's master plan to kill Luffy at Laugh Tale, activating the One Piece. And yeah, as you can tell, this one is gonna be pretty screwed up. Alright, here's what we can all agree on, I think. Luffy having the Nika fruit is probably important when it comes to using or reaching the One Piece. Between the facts that the Roger pirates were too early and Shanks specifically trying to get a hold of the Nika fruit at the beginning of the story, something about this devil fruit power is crucial to using whatever is on this final island. It would also nicely explain why Shanks only pursues the One Piece after Gear 5th is showcased in Luffy's bounty poster. He knows that Luffy is close to the One Piece and he's now just got to beat him there. Now we also know that Shanks has some sort of big master plan. He's planted all the seeds for Luffy to achieve his full power and chase Shanks down to prove that he is a great pirate one day. And I guess what I'm suggesting here is that our good friend Shanks might actually just have been a master gaslighter, and he's just waiting for Luffy to make it to Laugh Tale so that he can rip Luffy's heart out, eat it, and become Nika, activating a secret weapon to destroy the world government. Why are you guys looking at me like I'm crazy right now? I mean, it's the sort of ultimate combination of kind of all the theories that we've been talking about today. Blackbeard and Big Mom's cannibalism that consumes devil fruits, children being sacrificed by their parents or step-parents, and Kuina not achieving her own dream. Not to mention, it would make for an awesome twist ending in Brook's big story. Now, if you've ever engaged with any One Piece theories at all, you will probably know that evil Shanks has always been a very common idea among fans and theorists, and I'm just kind of bumping this idea up a couple of notches. Instead of inspiring Luffy to achieve his dreams, Shanks is just crafting and shaping and kind of grooming Luffy into the person he needs to be in order to accomplish his own goals. Plus, the revelation that ancient technology seems to respond to Nika's drums of liberation seems to back the idea that the One Piece is also some ancient piece of technology. An idea that I actually have talked about in depth in a couple of other videos before if you want to check them out, but we do know that the Iron Giant keeps waking up in response to Luffy's and Bonnie's Gear 5 forms, and it's becoming more and more clear that the Nika form is also connected to all of the ancient weapons. So if this power is crucial to activating a weapon based on Laugh Tale, Shanks may need to have this power in his grasp himself to accomplish his own true objective. Now, whether Shanks actually is secretly working with the world government and is evil, or if he's just fulfilling Roger's dreams in his own way, I don't really know, but what I do know is that if we get to the end of the story and this man starts chewing down on Luffy's rubbery corpse, you all owe me $5 for this insane call out early on. While all of these theories are really dark and kind of really twisted also, there's actually a lot of questions here left unanswered in the world of One Piece as well that aren't exactly evil and freaky, but more mysterious. Like, what actually is the One Piece, and what is this massive egg on Roger's ship, and where is it now? And actually, I talk about the 13 biggest unsolved mysteries that you should check out in One Piece right here, talking about Shanks, Monkey D. Dragon, the Giant Straw Hat, and so many more. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Oh, this was a dark one. All right, need a break. Ugh.